Eliza Morgan believed in waiting. Not because she was afraid of love, but because she respected it too much to rush. She had seen what impatience did to people. She had watched friends cling to the wrong hands just to avoid being alone. She promised herself she would never do that. Love, to her, was supposed to feel steady, calm. Something that arrived without demanding pieces of her dignity in exchange. So she waited. By 29, she lived alone in a small apartment filled with books and quiet mornings. She worked hard, saved carefully, dated occasionally, walked away often. Not because she was cold, but because she knew the difference between attention and intention. Work became the place where she felt most grounded. She joined Hartwell Consulting as a data strategist, starting lower than her qualifications deserved but determined to prove herself without shortcuts. The office was sharp and fast-moving, filled with ambition that rarely slowed down for emotions. Her boss, Ryan Ashford, was known for precision. He was not unkind, just distant. A man who valued clarity over comfort and results over reassurance. Meetings were efficient. Feedback was direct. Praise was rare. Eliza liked that. They spoke only when necessary. Emails were concise. Interactions professional. He never asked personal questions, never lingered, never crossed boundaries. She noticed how rare that was. Over months, her work spoke for her. She stayed late without announcing it. Corrected errors before they became problems. Spoke in meetings only when she had something solid to add. Slowly, people began to listen. Ryan noticed. Not in dramatic ways. Not with sudden attention. But with subtle trust. He assigned her complex projects. Asked for her opinion privately. Defended her analysis when others questioned it. She never mistook it for favoritism. It felt earned. One evening, after a long day of presentations, Eliza remained at her desk refining data charts. The office emptied around her. Lights dimmed automatically. Her eyes burned with fatigue. She did not notice Ryan until he stopped nearby. "You don't need to stay," he said evenly. She looked up, surprised. "I know." He nodded once, as if that was answer enough. Then, almost as an afterthought, he added, "But I see why you do." The words were simple, but something about them settled deep in her chest. Not praise. Not flirtation. Recognition. Eliza returned to her work with steady hands, unaware that something quiet had already begun to shift, not into romance, not yet, but into understanding. And sometimes, that was where true love really started. One quiet afternoon, weeks later, Eliza found herself staying late again, but this time by choice. Ryan was still in his office. Lights low. Tie loosened. He invited her to sit. They talked, not about work, but about the long roads that shaped them. Eliza spoke about her father, who loved loudly and left suddenly. About relationships that demanded pieces of her she could not afford to give. About why waiting felt safer than hoping. Ryan surprised her by sharing his own truth. A marriage built on ambition, not intimacy. Two people growing parallel lives until silence replaced conflict. Leaving without drama, but with regret. "I thought choosing stability was the same as choosing love," he said quietly. She understood that too well. They sat in shared stillness, aware of the space between them and the reason it mattered. That night, Eliza realized waiting had not been about fear. It had been about discernment. And Ryan realized distance had protected him, but also kept him lonely. Part 4. Choosing honor over desire. Approx 500 words. Rumors began when trust deepened. Nothing inappropriate had happened. But perception rarely cared for facts. A senior partner hinted that Eliza's progress might be personal. The comment was light, but its meaning was sharp. Ryan confronted it immediately. He reassigned oversight. Created distance. Made boundaries visible. It hurt more than either expected. Less conversation. Fewer moments. Professionalism restored at a cost. Eliza considered leaving. Ryan considered letting her go for her own protection. Instead, They spoke honestly. "I won't be someone's shadow," she said. "And I won't be the reason your integrity is questioned," he replied. They stepped back. Not because love was weak, but because it was strong enough to wait. A year passed. Eliza accepted a role at another firm. Built her reputation independently. Thrived. Ryan watched from a distance, proud and restrained. They met again by chance at a conference in a different city. No hierarchy. No power imbalance. Just two people who already knew each other deeply. Coffee turned into conversation. Conversation into truth. This time, no one needed permission. Love did not arrive early. It arrived when it could finally stay. And that made all the waiting worth it. Pressure had a way of revealing what patience hid. The second quarter brought impossible deadlines and shrinking margins. Teams worked through weekends. Tempers shortened. Mistakes multiplied. Eliza absorbed more than her share without complaint. She always had. What no one saw was how thin her balance had become. Her mother's health had been failing quietly for months. Doctor visits. Unpaid leave used sparingly. Nights spent calculating which bills could wait. Eliza did not mention it at work. She believed professionalism meant separation. But exhaustion does not stay hidden forever. During a late review meeting, her voice faltered while presenting projections. It was brief. Barely noticeable. But Ryan noticed. After the meeting, he asked her to stay. The office was silent except for the hum of lights. "You're carrying something," he said calmly. "And it's affecting your work." The words should have felt like criticism. Instead, they felt like concern. Eliza swallowed. "I'll manage." He did not accept that. "Managing isn't the same as being okay," he replied. "And I don't want to lose good people because they think silence is strength." The sentence cracked something open. She did not cry. She simply told the truth. About appointments. About worry. About how waiting had taught her endurance but not rest. Ryan listened without interruption. "Take flexibility," he said. "Adjust your hours. No explanations required." "People will talk," she said. "They always do," he replied. "Let them." From that moment, something changed, not in how they behaved publicly, but in how Eliza felt privately. She was not invisible anymore.